Torah and to do tefillah. So with gratitude to Hashem. And it's so important. I was so happy when I heard Karen was getting all of us together because it's especially this time. It's very important for us to do tefillah as one. The unity is very, very important, and of course, for us to learn Torah together is absolutely beautiful. So I thank you very much for this opportunity. This week's parsha, we have two. We have a double parsha here. We have Matot and Masei. And there's a lot of things that one could say about this parsha. We chose Kedushah and navigating life's journeys. And hopefully there's also tools in this that can help all of us, particularly during the 3 weeks and during this time in particular as well. So these parshas have a lot of things in them, as many do, and there's a lot that we could discuss. There's the promises, there's the wars with Midian, there's the koshering the dishes, there's Reuven and Gad asking to settle on the east side of the Jordan. There's Moshe granting their request and putting in half of Menashe, which is an entire story in itself. There's writing down the 42 places that we camped in the desert. We will be talking a little bit about that. There's the Arei Miklat, right, the cities of refuge, and these little laws of the cities regarding these things. Is obviously the sanctity of life. And then, of course, we have the Zalachad's daughters, and they find husbands, and they marry within the tribe of Menashe. And my wish also is for everyone that is looking for their bashert, that they should find it very, very soon. So this is a beautiful parsha for that as well. So we'll learn again we have a lot of things to think about, and we, in particular, maybe just the healing, the protection of all of Bnei Israel, including obviously the special protection for the hostages and the chayalim at this time. So as I mentioned, there's a lot of things we could talk about with this week's parsha and it being a double parsha. I'm actually going to begin with something that maybe most people don't talk about, and that's Aharon. Aharon is actually mentioned in this week's parsha, and Rav Kook wrote a very nice essay on this. So I'm just going to quickly show you a book. I don't know if anyone is familiar with this. It's called the Torah United series. And it's absolutely beautiful. There's basically 3 commentaries on each parsha, and I'll let you know just in the order it's presented. The first commentary is by Rav Kook, the second one is Hasidic Matters, and the third one is Rav Soloveitchik. And they are absolutely beautiful, and I look forward to reading this throughout the week. And in particular, the first one that I read was Rav Kook's for Parsha Masei, and it has to do with Aharon, and it has to do really with loving each Jew, which I think is such an important thing. And Karen spoke about it, but it's something that's so important for all of us, and especially now, and the idea of unity and rebuilding the Beit HaMikdash and so many beautiful things. So we're going to look a little bit about Aharon, who is connected with peace. Okay, so this is also amazing. He embodies peace and its pursuit, right, in this life. And Rav Kook writes that, and it's based on a lot of his writings, and they present that also in this book, that this Kohen was a role model for the people who are to be a kingdom of Kohanim. And this very much reminded me of just, again, how much Hashem loves us in this holy nation, and how we do things from such a place of Kedushah, and particularly the women. And so the Mishnah advises, be a disciple of Aharon, loving peace and pursuing peace, right? And when we dive into Tehillim, we see this in Tehillim 34, which is Lamed Daled, right? The seek peace and pursue it, loving people and drawing them near to the Torah. So, and it says, how does one live up to the legacy of Aharon? And Rav Avraham Yitzhak HaKohen Kook held up a template, which I'll read to you, and at some point maybe we could go into this more in depth, Leonetta, because it really is all about how to love one's fellow Jew. And essentially he writes, I am a creation and my fellow is a creation. My work is in the city and his is in the field. I rise early for my work and he rises early for his. Just as he does not lay claim to my work, so I do not lay claim to his. If you say that I do much and he little, we learn. One who does much and one who does little are the same, so long as one directs the heart to heaven. So it's very much geared toward the idea of loving one's fellow Jew. And that, of course, is connected very much with the idea, Rav Kook, with peace. And it says that Rav Kook writes, and well, it's part of what he has as his commentaries. that Aharon modeled for the entire nation an ideal way to lead one's life, for how to become a kingdom of Kohanim. May we all merit becoming disciples of Aharon by loving peace and pursuing it, and loving people and drawing them near to the Torah. So, so this is a beautiful, beautiful idea. And I know it's not one that's necessarily focused on as much with these parshas, but I think it's very important. And I just wanted to also say, when we think of peace and we think of Torah, we learn Torah for the sake of learning Torah, and obviously for sharing and teaching. But I also just wanted to reiterate something as Shabbat is coming. It's very soon. There's something that we say as part of Kabbalah Shabbat. You also see it at Mincha, and it's something, it's one of my favorite things. So you may have also heard me say this many times before when I quoted it, but I'm going to say it again because it has to do with peace and it has to do with Torah. And we're coming together to learn Torah, and we want so much for peace. We daven for peace so much. So it's the part from the Talmud that says, Rabbi Lazar said on behalf of Rabbi Hanina, Torah scholars increase peace in the world. And it is said, and your children will be the students of Hashem, and your children will have abundant peace. Do not read Banai, your children, but Bonai, your builders. There is abundant peace for the lovers of your Torah, and there is no stumbling block for them. May there be peace within your walls and serenity within your palaces. For the sake of my brethren and my comrades, I shall speak of peace in your midst. For the sake of the house of Hashem, our Hashem, I will request good for you. Hashem will give might to his nation. Hashem will bless his nation with peace. So I'm beginning the Parsha, learning with discussing Aharon and peace and seeking peace and pursuing it, and the beautiful connection to Torah and the beautiful connection to how we treat each other, the notion of loving each other. And we know that we learn that the world stands on three things: on Torah, tefillah, and an acts of chesed, right? And tzedakah is very much a part of this. And so these are things that we just keep doing. We have to keep doing as a nation and do them together. And when I think of Hashem and how much he loves us, and we see that so throughout our parshas, and even in the sense that that Aharon, right, the notion of a nation, of holy nation, right? Hashem told us, right, that he is that you shall be to me a kingdom of ministers and a holy nation, right? And Aharon is also very much associated, right, with he's the line of the Kohanim. And when I looked at, when we discuss, we have in this week's Parsha, right, the war against Midian. And Hashem asked us, right, to go and to fight this war. And he commands us right through Moshe. And this made me also think of David HaMelech, because David HaMelech, before he went to war, right, he asked the Sanhedrin, we went to consult with the Kohanim, with the Urim V'Tuvim, and then he consulted his general for the strategy. And he knew, right, he knew that every victory comes from Hashem, everything comes from Hashem. And in this week's Parsha, when we learn about the war against Midian, right, we have, we're told 1,000 from each tribe, right? There were 12,000 Siddiqim from each, as a whole, the 12,000 were going to fight in this war against Midian. No one fell in battle. And how was everything handled? And this is something that I saw when I was studying the Parsha. Everything is handled from this level of Kedushah. And we're talking about war and what happens when the soldiers come back. They can't, many of them can't enter, right, the camp of the Shekhinah for 7 days. So they purify themselves in the waters of the Para Aduma. We're taught about koshering dishes because that was part of the spoils that we brought back in this war. And so that was something that we had to do, right? And so just think of the framework of Kedushah, that whatever we're doing, wherever we are, we have this beautiful opportunity to elevate things, and Hashem is guiding us. And one of my favorite parts, actually, of how things were handled is that when the spoils come back, right, Hashem specifically commands, and I'm going to read this straight from the Chumash, but this is another thing that shows just Hashem's love for us and how we should treat each other in terms of our love for one another. And what he says is, some of you may know what I'm referring to, but essentially Hashem says to Moshe, calculate the total of the captured spoils of people and animals, you, Elazar the Kohen, right, because it's Aharon's son, and the heads of the fathers, the assembly, divide the spoils in half between those who undertook the battle, who go out to the legion, and the entire assembly. So it's shared among everyone. So even though people might have fought and they ended up with all these spoils, that all of Bnei Israel, right, can share in this because we're all one. And it's this notion of unity, right? And also the idea that Hashem is our father and we are his children, right? And you want your children to share. So this is also something very, very beautiful. This really, I just see this unconditional love that Hashem has for us, and how he's trying to instill it, right, and for us to have with each other, and how we can do this through our actions, because it's in our hearts, right? It's our lev. It's where we're all one and we love each other. And I'm also just going to throw out, I see this like a lot in the WhatsApps, but and I'm sure people know about it, but there's one organization called Just One Thing, and it matches you with a soldier, right? So you can do anything, you can do some kind of mitzvah, and it's really in the zechus of the protecting, right? And the soldier coming home safely, and so many wonderful things for the soldier, and you're keeping this person in mind. And I know that I gave a shiur before on the importance of davening for others, and it's a beautiful thing, and we do this as a group. We keep in mind so many people, and I know when we daven Tehillim and we daven Shachrit, there's this, right, and Mincha and Mara with the Shemona Esrei, there's a part that you could insert for people, and I know that we're all trying so hard, to daven for each other, and this is one thing, that Just One Thing matches you with a soldier, and you keep that soldier in mind, whatever mitzvah you're doing. Just something special for that soldier. And so that's another beautiful way of uniting all of us and really doing chesed. So that's something I just wanted to mention. And then the other thing I wanted to really talk about was the journey. And so this is something that's mentioned, and there's a lot said on this. And for this, I'm actually going to bring in, again, the book Torah United, but I'm going to turn to the section on Hasidic matters. And so we look at navigating life's journeys. And in this double parsha, in the second parsha, actually, in Masei, we actually are given 42 places, right? Moshe has to write down 42 places where we camped. And essentially, we know that Hashem has been guiding us all this time. And he makes, it very obvious, right, in the desert. But we also know that even if we're not this is obvious as revealed, Hashem is always guiding us. And so it's this beautiful idea that Hashem is always with us. Hashem is always taking care of us. And this, and we have to trust in Hashem. So Moshe has to write down, right, as part of the Torah, the 42 places that we camped. And, so, right, we stopped and we went, and it wasn't always an equal time that we were traveling or staying in one place, but it was always Hashem guiding us and knowing exactly how long we had to stay in one place and when we were ready to move forward. And not just to move forward as individuals, but to move forward as all of Bnei Israel is one. So this is such a beautiful, beautiful idea, right? So if you look at it in this Hasidic matters as part of the Torah United book, the Baal Shem Tov actually kind of looks at these 42 journeys as happening to every person throughout their whole life. And he reiterates that it's an expression of Hashem's love for us, right? Because Hashem is guiding every single one of us and all of us as a nation, because we're all one, right? In this beautiful way to elevate, we each doing our mission, but it's all part of one, and really tikkun, right? In many ways for us and for the whole world, I feel. And so the Hasidic approach, it was looking from something called Sefat Emet, truth, right? And it had 3 different approaches. And I think these are very good tools for us, especially during the 3 weeks to keep in mind. So the first way of looking at this journey is that it's a movement towards a destination, but it's also a movement away from the origin, right? And so like in this particular case, we're looking at the Jewish people were putting more and more distance between themselves and Egypt, right? So it's sort of moving, we gravitate towards what is holy. So again, we're a holy nation, right? Chosen by Hashem, and we've chosen Hashem, not seven Ishma. And so we're going towards what is holy and good, and we're going away from anything profane and evil. Okay, so that's one way of looking at it, moving towards something holy. And you know what? And there's some days we're going to be able to run, right, and to move forward very quickly. And there are other ways that days are going to be harder for us, but we have to know that we're always moving forward. So and so it says, okay, so it talks about this very much, and that there's Masot, the journeys, and for the journey, there's always the idea of going upwards. Okay. So then the second way of looking at it, and I can just read it to you actually, what it says is there are places that only exist by distancing oneself from them. As with all worldly affairs, for they exist only negatively via rejection. They are called Masot, journeys, for the journey Masa from there is upwards. Okay, so the idea that we're going forward. Okay, and that's actually very, very important to keep in mind. Okay, and then the second way of looking at it was, again, it was referring to the fact that the duration of how long we stay in each place, right, how long we traveled, it's unequal. And so the idea that the route can also be circuitous, right? We weren't, even when we first left Egypt, we didn't go on a straight path. Hashem took us, on a different path. It was a longer path, but he felt it was better for all of Bnei Israel to go in that way. And so it says, like, sometimes there's great peril, there's all kinds of things that we might come across, but we always must push on. And it says all of the journeys are written to teach Hashem's people that no servant of Hashem should be discouraged from all of his failures, because that is the way it is to rise and to fall, right? So it's how we look at it, not just that it's a failure, it's an opportunity to learn. And so we can look at it in this way, and we know that there's going to be these challenges, but we know Hashem is with us. We know the challenges are for good, even if we don't see it at the time. And it's really that this is part of the journey, right? And Hashem is always with us. Amen. So, okay. And then the third way of that's mentioned in terms of this journey that we are taking, and this is very beautiful. It says the opening midrash on Parashiot Masei says that all way stations were recorded so that the Jewish people know that it was only by miracle that they kept moving forward. In the desert, the Jews never had to flee from their enemies, as is the natural course of a weak nation traveling with women, children, and all their possessions. In the same way, the Rebbe says, we should look at the path of our life and see Hashem's footsteps accompany ours and draw strength from knowing that the same is true going forward. Whenever a Jew feels as if the path is blocked, it is only so that he can look up and commit his heart to his Father in heaven. So the idea also, and I think of Moshe Rabbeinu, right? When we were first fighting, we first left Egypt, what happened was, right, when we were fighting Amalek, he raised his hands, and whenever he raised his hands, right, the Jewish people would win. Why? Because he was reminding the Jewish people, redirecting, everything is from Hashem. It's all from Hashem. Like, think of, this increased emunah and bitachon in Hashem. And that's very much what the journey from, in the desert is, right? Is building this bitachon and this emunah. And really, going right as we go through our missions. And I think that's another thing to know, that there's these ups and downs, but there's also, like, this, everything is a tremendous miracle, right? And Hashem is taking care of us all the time. And so the level of gratitude that we have, right? It's I feel like I can't even match, everything that Hashem is doing for us. And it's incredibly beautiful. And at this time, you know what, during the 3 weeks, again, there's a lot that we can focus on. And I know, like myself, like sometimes I just shared with somebody that yesterday when I was talking to Shimon Esther, I just started crying. And I think there's a lot of pain that we can focus on, but there's also tremendous good, because everything is turned into joy. And we know this, right? Tisha B'Av is coming up. And just as Tisha B'Av is known as the sad day, it's also the day Mashiach is born. It's a day of tremendous hope. And we know it can be a day of celebration, complete celebration. And it's actually likened to Simchas Torah, right? And that can also be a day of celebration. So I think that, I think also that, that this is something to keep in mind during these 3 weeks, that life is a journey and that it has these ups and downs, but to know that Hashem loves us, and to know this is all part of Hashem's plan, and to take tremendous comfort and joy in that, because Hashem loves us and he's doing what's best for us. And so this is something that can remind us of that. And it says here also, as we travel through the year and we make our weekly stop at Masei, we are reminded to make the most of our own life's journey and to turn the hardships into a revelation of Hashem's light. And so that's another very, very beautiful thing. And the only other thing I'm gonna mention, because I think everyone that has heard me speak knows how much I love Torah, and that's another part that actually Rob Soloveitchik brought up, and that was one of his commentaries for this double parsha, and it goes into the regiving of the Torah. And so this is something, and we know again that we learn Torah for the sake of learning Torah. We share Torah, we learn Torah, we teach Torah, and Torah is so much associated also with peace, right? It's very much associated with peace. And so what's mentioned here also is in regard to the journey. It says in this week's parsha, they took a 3-day trek in the wilderness of HaAm and then encamped in Marah. Okay, so it's the notion of the 3 days, and of course, and they were 3 days without water, and we know that Torah is compared to water, right? I also think of Rabbi Akiva with this, and so although literally it means they did not have anything to drink, right? It's compared to Torah, and the sages understand it to mean the Jewish people were thirsting for Torah. So in response, Moshe instituted the reading of Torah on Monday, Thursday, and Shabbat to ensure that 3 days would never elapse without hearing the word of Hashem. So this is a very beautiful thing. And Rob Soloveitchik, offered a much deeper take on this. And he articulated the convincing theory that it reenacts Matan Torah, the very assembly at Sinai in which the Torah was revealed and given by Hashem. And again, and he likens it to Hakel, okay? And I say this also because it's a beautiful, beautiful example of unity, right? We're all coming together in inclusion. And it says, and this is also from Rav Soloveitchik's writings, that since the entire people cannot gather 3 times a week, the Rav proposed that we assign 3 aliyot, okay, to the Torah, and that's, we have the Kohanim and the Levim and the Israel, right? So we have this symbolically showing all of the nation's presence, okay? So it's a beautiful idea that, and when we go to shul on Shabbat, we can think of this, right? That we're all coming together. We can feel the unity. We can feel peace. We have to try so hard to daven and feel that peace. And it's a beautiful idea, right? With the Torah and the notion that when we come together, as the Rav says, he laid this brilliant, beautiful blueprint for how we have all of these layers of Torah learning and how similar it is to Har Sinai. And so we can think of that and we can feel that when we're in shul, and also just to know that, and we can internalize it, right, and bring it into our daily lives. And I think just the idea of coming together, because that's really much what I see for us. We began this beautiful gathering, davening together. We're learning about the Torah and Hakel, and all of us coming together, right? Men, women, and children. We all were there. And we're all here, and it's the most beautiful thing to come together in unity. And I think that's very, very important. And a beautiful part of unity is loving each other and how we treat one another, and really reaching out to each other. And I think that's something that's been going very strong. 9 months, right? 9 months here, and we still have such beautiful, tremendous unity and strength. So that is an absolute bracha, a blessing from Hashem, that we have that. And 9 is actually associated. I know it's 9 is the month of a baby's born with the Pesach song, but it's also 9 is also associated with emet, with truth. And I really pray for all of us. That Hashem should hear our prayers, answer them for good, that we should hear very good news very soon, that we should have just tremendous everlasting peace. I pray so much for peace. And I want to just send my love to everyone, because I'm so touched by everybody coming together and the love that we have for each other. And I think that that's also a tremendous part of bringing Mashiach. So thank you for this opportunity. I don't know if Karen is here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Karen.
Okay. Hashem should bless you. Everything good, Bezrat Hashem. You're tzaddik. Yes. Thank you for inspiring us always. Before everyone goes, I just want to mentioned that there is a tefillah gathering. It says 11 on the flyer. Trying to understand when it's starting. I just asked them. But I think it says 11:30 on the text. So I posted it in the chat. If you could please forward it. If you're on my HaAm group. Oh, I said to you also that I would post the links if anybody wants to donate. So this is my email, Nishay Lev HaAm @gmail.com. If anybody would like to donate to Lev HaAm, we can continue doing our amazing work. Baruch Hashem, spreading more inspiration to Am Yisrael. Please do so by just emailing me, or I can also put the links. Give me 1 minute, and I'll put the links for the Zelle and PayPal if anybody would like to donate tonight. And if it's for Hachnasas Kala, please mention it. If it's for Lev HaAm in general, please mention it. And it should be a zchut for all of Am Yisrael for Yeshuot, and a zchut for Shalema for Devorah Bat Heni and Shimon ben Rivka. If you could all keep them in your prayers over Shabbat. If you could do a mitzvah, do a chesed, anything you can do, it really would be greatly appreciated. Hashem should give you lots of bracha and atzlacha on everything that you guys do. I'm posting here now the payment links if anybody wants to be a partner with Lev HaAm. If you want to sponsor Shiurim, also please be in touch with me through the email that I mentioned. It's here again, and here are the links. In 1 second. Any questions for Devorah? Any comments? Anybody? If you could unmute yourself. Let us know if there's anything you want to say, you want to add.
This is Ashira. I need to say to everybody that I'm just so grateful to hear Devorah. Every time she speaks, she is just overflowing with no ums and ahs, just sentence after sentence of
I know,
love,
she is.
love of Torah, like she says, love of Hashem, and information that's so valuable, but putting it together like a tapestry, just weaving one idea into the next, and just really being a Shivchas Hashem. What more can I say? Thank you so much, Devorah. And thank you, Karen, for bringing her to us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shira.
Thank you.
So special.
Thank you, Devorah.
If anybody does not have my phone number, I'm going to share with you here on the group as well. Feel free to be in touch with me. If I could be of help to anyone. If anybody wants to sponsor, like I said, a share, if you want to be, I also do life coaching if you're interested in life coaching or helping you to market an event. Again, my name is Karen Miller Yoshua, and I am so pleased and honored to be here with all of you. We're going to go into the other Zoom. I did post the Zoom link. There's a Zoom link, and there's also a YouTube link. Let me see if I could post that as well, if you can get onto the Zoom, because they're publicizing this link worldwide. This is Rabbanit Bazak, Rachel Bazak. She is the daughter, I think, of Shmuel Eliyahu, and it's under the guidance of Shmuel Eliyahu. They said that women should gather together now and pray tonight because of the threat of retaliation from Iran and all the other terrorist groups. I heard there was a meeting amongst those oivim of ours, but we know the hand of Hashem is what is ruling. En od milvado, and that's what you have to keep saying to yourself, ladies. En od milvado. There's no one, there's no power, there's nothing that rules over this world. Only Hashem. Hashem is kol yachol. He can do everything and anything, and He does. He helps us. He protects us. And we see it so clearly, and we have to just be in emunah and bitachon. Abotech b'Hashem chesed yisovenu. There's so many other psukim, it's not coming to my mind now, of somebody who trusts in Hashem, how much he has protection. Baruch hagever sheyiftach b'Hashem v'ya Hashem yiftacho. If you trust in Hashem, Hashem becomes your stronghold. And yes, only Hashem, Yocheved. Yocheved, you want to say a few words? Are you able to speak now? I don't know if you're in an area that you can talk.
Not yet. Thank you.
Okay.
This is beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yocheved, for being here. So I really appreciate everyone joining me. Let's. I'm gonna post also Tehillim, divided Tehillim for the next few days. I'm gonna divide Tehillim, and you'll have a separate keep that you can join together and say. I'll post it on my groups, and you'll see that as well. We should all take upon ourselves to try to say a few prakim of Tehillim. If we can't complete, a lot, it's okay. Whatever you can say with kavana is more important than a number. Some people think you have to say a whole sefer. It's hard for some people. So take upon yourself that you'll take a few prakim of Tehillim and really, really say them with tremendous kavana for Am Yisrael. Learn a certain sefer, listen to shirim that give you chizuk in emunah. There's a speaker that you'd like to hear. Let's be mitchazek in our emunah, mitchazek in our bitachon, and call out to Hashem. Hashem wants to hear our tefillot, and the zchut of a tefillot has such a power in Shamayim you cannot imagine. And so let us unite now in tefillah. The next few days, a few hours, they're saying all these things. I don't believe what the news says, B'tach b'Hashem, I have to trust in Hashem and Od Milvado. That's it. There's no one but Him. So I know it's sometimes anxious. It's anxiety. Like we read the news, we get like all anxious and we think, oh my gosh, what's going to be, what's going to be, what's going to be. We have to believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And, the steps that we can take is tefillot. Tefillot, chasadim, mitzvot. Make a good kugel for your family. Make chalas, hafrashas chalas, tremendous time of et ratzon, of davening. Have kavana in your chalas. Have kavana in your cooking for Shabbat, nourishing your family, your guests. And know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu sees every single act that we're doing. And He's going to protect us. And also, I forgot to say, very important, we're leading into Shabbat. This is Shabbat is a protection, right? Ki yashmera Shabbat, kel yishmereni. When we keep Shabbat, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I'm going to protect you. I'm going to make sure that you have what you need. And Hashem does. He does. And we see that all the time. So go into Shabbat, Be'ezrat Hashem, with shefa, with bracha, with emunah, and with the feeling that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is kol yachol and is protecting us. Hopefully we'll meet again tomorrow on the Zoom. I'll try to post the link. If you're not in my group, like I said, please join. I'll put the link here or send me a message with your name. Somebody asked me for a message. I should resend the message. Which message would you like me to send? You want the link? Is that what the message that you wanted? I'll repost it again. This is a YouTube link to join tonight for Tefillot, Worldwide Tefillot. And I posted also, you can join. In general, there's like a registration that you can join because then you'll get her the other things that she posts. This is from Rabbanit Rachel Bazak from Tzfat. So you can register for the link, or you can use the Zoom code that's provided right here. I copied it from the registration. Okay, ladies. Ein Od Milvado. We'll see you, Bezrat Hashem, with better news. Bezrat Hashem. Estorot Tovot, Yeshuot Kol Amecha Yisrael. Tonight should be a zchut L'ilui Nishmat my grandfather, zchutot Tegen Aleinu Shalom Ben Sarah. And Bezrat Hashem, all the tzaddikim, Hashem should protect us. We should hear Besorot Tovot, Yeshuot for Devorah Bat Heni, Shimon Rivka, all the cholim, all the chayalim, bring them home safely. All the chatufim, Hashem should bring them home healthy, strong, and also all our families, all the families of the soldiers and of the captives. Hashem should give them tremendous koach and strength and emunah and be able to give them the koach that they need and to be able to greet their children soon, very soon, coming home safely and soundly, Bezrat Hashem. Thank you all for joining. Appreciate you being here. I would love to see faces. I'd love to see cameras. I know not everybody's ready to be on the screen, but I welcome you to turn on your cameras and say goodbye to me if I get to see you. Thank you, Ashira. Good sport. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here. I see some friends. Where are you from? I don't know what the name is. GD. De Freitas. Where are you from? GD. I don't know who GD is. See some new faces here. You're welcome.
I'm from London.
London, welcome. What's
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, what's your name?
So my English name is Jillian. My Hebrew name is Hefzibah.
Oh, Haftiba is my great grandmother.
Oh, okay.
Special name you have.
Oh, Baruch Hashem.
Where are you in England?
London. So I live in Golders Green. So
My kid's grandparents are from Golders Green.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Hashem. Okay, anybody else want to say hello before we end? Welcome, Toby. Welcome, Edith. Adina. I don't know who 6BVL is. If you want to introduce yourself. 6BVL213. What a code name for your name, for your Zoom account. Okay, I'm gonna get off. I'll wish you all an amazing night. If you don't come on tomorrow, I wish you a Shabbat Shalom, Mevorechet, Yeshuot, Besorot Tovot. Copy the link right now before I end the meeting, so you have it. And if you're on my group, you'll see it there as well. Thank you all for being here. May we hear Besorot
Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you.
Shalom. Thank you, Devorah. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you all who helped. Besorot Tovot.